Guess what? I forgot to pick up an item. You can have a second guess to determine whereabouts this item is. We will collect it very soon, but first let's speak to Mooncalf.
I have some more questions.
Ask them, if you must.
I wasn't about to reveal that I had the list to Mooncalf. I had a feeling that would be suicide. But perhaps I could use it to trap him. Someone told me that you know Therma.
Indeed. And who might that have been?
It's not important. Is she part of your cult?
No. No, she's not.
But you know her.
No. I've never met her.
I see. What about Satrap?
Are you intending to bore me with a list of people's names? I haven't time for this tomfoolery. I must preach the gospel of Anu Anu.
Thy kingdom Coom and all that.
Yes. Indeed.
I'd clearly unsettled him mentioning Coom. Now I just needed to sit back and watch what he got up to. Well, I'll be on my way.
I'll be here should you choose to repent.
Oh, hello. Where did this person spring from?
There was a troll standing near Mooncalf. I could only assume he was a part of Mooncalf's cult. What brings you to the Temple of Small Gods?
He will not answer you. He has taken a vow of silence.
How convenient. They are speaking right next to the window. Luckily, we can stand outside the window. And we have some new superpowers as well. How are you doing, Gaspode? Maybe you should go somewhere where it's a bit drier?
There were two silhouettes at the window. One was definitely Mooncalf. The other looked like a troll.
Well, yeah. We've already seen them in person.
I could just about make out that Mooncalf was saying something, but I couldn't make out what. With my sharpened wolf senses, I could hear what Mooncalf was saying to the troll.
And I think we may have to do something about it. We will have a meeting of the true believers after this evening's sermon.
Sure thing, boss. You want I should go now?
No. You keep an eye on Luton if you can. I'll go back to the sanctuary and leave a message for the others.
You got it, boss.
A Scottish troll. Interesting. Now let's go and collect this item. If you guessed the Octarine Parrots, then you will be correct. I don't know how I missed this originally. I mean, I've played, what, 2, maybe 3 adventure games in my time. I'd like to think that I'm okay at them. But there is an item here that we need, which we cannot see just yet. But earlier on when we came here, and we examined this bright cyan blob.
The cyan stench was coming from a bottle of perfume.
It activated the perfume bottle here, which is what I overlooked in a previous video.
The perfume was something called KC2, obviously intended for trolls. Obviously a very exclusive Troll perfume. The label says KC2, Potassium Carbide Perfume. The perfume for a Troll or a woman.
I need this now, otherwise we would have to repeat, I would say rather long, for this game, fairly long sequence.
I need your help again, Malaclips.
They'll all need my help sooner or later. They just don't know it yet.
What do you make of this perfume?
Ah, KC2. The perfume that unsuspecting trolls become addicted to, selling all their possessions just to get another hit of its sweet fragrance.
Sweet fragrance? You've never smelled this stuff, have you? I'd overheard something interesting at the window of the Temple of Small Gods. Something about a meeting of the true believers. I overheard Mooncalf talking about a meeting of the true believers. I'd really like to know what that was about.
It's tough to find out what the cult of Anu is up to.
Is there any way I could listen in to one of Mooncalf's sermons?
The sermons don't take place here. They hold them in the inner sanctum.
The inner sanctum?
It's the center of worship here in the Temple of Small Gods.
How come? I mean, there are a vast number of gods and goddesses that the temple has to provide for. Are you telling me they all have to share one room for the services?
Absolutely. High priests are always complaining that so-and-so was hogging the sanctum all morning, or that such and such left hair at the bottom of the holy font. It causes a lot of tension around the temple.
Can you get me in there? I'd like to have a look around.
I could arrange to have the sanctum for a while if I told them I had a follower, but I don't.
So if I agree to be your follower, you can get us into the inner sanctum?
Yes, I can. But you wouldn't really be my follower. The followers of Errata don't follow each other. We don't even follow Errata. We follow our own ways.
So why is there a Church of Errata at all?
You're learning, Luton. Keep thinking like that and you'll go far in the church.
So can you get me into the inner sanctum?
I can, provided we can find a time when the cult of Anu aren't there.
Are Mooncalf's lot in there often?
All the time. And that's not all either. He sneaks away after each one. I think they've got a secret sanctuary somewhere.
I'd like to find that.
Actually, I'd quite like you to find it too.
Can't resist a secret, eh?
No, I'd just like to get in the way of everything Mooncalf does. Him and his big evangelical budget and hordes of out-of-tune followers singing and chanting at all hours of the day. He's gonna get his comeuppance, and anything I can do to speed it up suits me fine.
So you'll help me?
Wait here. I'll go and make the arrangements.
It took a while, but eventually Malaclips got me into the inner sanctum. Malaclips stayed by the door to warn me if anyone was coming.
What on earth is this? I'm guessing that this is the turtle or the disc, but what's this? Oh, there we go. That looks like the turtle here.
There were small stained glass windows in the inner sanctum depicting the story of how a valiant mortal, pure and gentle, was cruelly tricked, taunted, and tortured by the gods. Just for a laugh. There wasn't much I could do to the windows. The inner sanctum sported a beautiful lectern. The plaque said it was donated to the temple by Mr. Fedean, of the militant servitors of Ikebana, goddess of topiary. Searching, I discovered there was a cavity in the base of the lectern. The space under the lectern was large enough to fit a whole person inside. Unfortunately, there wasn't much room to move inside. And to my embarrassment, I got stuck.
Luton! They're coming! Hide!
I'm way ahead of you, Malaclips.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered together in the sight of our God, Anu Anu, to speak of our devotion to the Anointed One at this, our time of need. But before today's sermon, I'd like to read from the cult bulletin for a moment. Firstly, there's a jumble sale next Saturday to raise funds to buy a fresh goat to sacrifice. We'd appreciate it if as many cultists as possible could attend. We don't want to have to sacrifice another pigeon. It hardly befits a deity of the illustrious wonder of Anu Anu to be sacrificed another of Mrs. Jerboam's gerbils either. Yes, I know they breed like flies, but that's not the point.
The sermon was one of the most tedious things I'd ever had to listen to. And as if that wasn't bad enough, then the hymns started. Why the gods wanted to listen to such droning monotony was a mystery to me, but I suspected they just liked to make the mortals suffer. The temptation to sink something sharp into Mooncalf's feet was getting very hard to resist. I was going to have to be careful what I did to Mooncalf's feet.
This is where we need the perfume. If we forget the perfume, then we have to repeat this process.
I sprayed Mooncalf's feet with Sapphire's trawl perfume. That should make the little psychopath a little easier to follow. Sapphire's perfume cut through the stench of the river like a trawl wading through a dwarf street rally. The bright reek led into the shades, the oldest and most dangerous part of the city. As a wolf, I listened to what the so-called true believers were saying through one of the windows of the sanctuary.
Greetings, brethren. I call to order this extraordinary general meeting of the secret cabal of the true believers of Anu Anu.
You smell nice tonight, boss.
What?
What is that? KC2?
What are you blathering about, Foyd? Anyway, I see we're all present.
Therma not present, boss.
Therma has to keep a low profile at the moment. Do not concern yourselves with her absence.
Why should Therma have such special status? I have important business of my own to be doing, and these interruptions aid no one.
Quiet, satrap. Mooncalf wouldn't have called us together if it wasn't important.
Indeed not. There is an investigator, a Mr. Luton, who's been asking worrying questions. I think he may know about Nylon Ethertep.
I do now.
I still say this is madness. There must be a better way to glorify our beloved Anu Anu without taking such risks.
You always were the spineless one, Coombe.
Silence, Kondo. As chairman, I will not permit such disputes when the meeting of true believers has just been called to order.
When can we have a dispute?
It can wait until we reach any other business.
Damn.
Shh! What is it?
I heard something outside.
They say bravery is what tells the men from the boys. Well, I was a wolf, so I figured I could be brave and still run away. The cultist sanctuary was deep in the shades.
It's not exactly very secure.
For some reason, the cultists had a map of Ankh-Morpork in the sanctuary. I couldn't easily take the map, but I could use it to work out some things.
I did recognise 2 or 3 of the voices. One of them was definitely warm. Foyd is the Scottish troll. I'm sure it will all become apparent in time.
The sanctuary was decorated with a strange and disturbing fresco. Closely examining the fresco, I could see that one of the symbols made a frequent appearance. The recurring symbol on the fresco was like a distorted star with an eye in the center. I wasn't sure what it was. I made a sketch of the symbol in my notebook.
Oh, a double one. Let's take a look.
I wanted to find out what the strange symbol in the sanctuary meant. Mooncalf's cultists had mentioned Nylon Athatep, but at first I didn't know what it meant.
We must head back to the mansion at some point.
I wanted to find out what the strange symbol in the sanctuary meant.
Okay, so we have... It's not unusual to have 2 entries, but it is unusual to have a diagram. We have a map here and a cult. Let's apply the counterweight killings to this to see... Well, it's a good way to determine the locations of the killings. Maybe there's some sort of pattern.
The murders seemed to be along the edge of a circle. I guess if there were any more murders, they'd take place somewhere on that circle too. In the center of the circle was the Disc Theater. Oh, I had a bad feeling about that.
Why do you have a bad feeling? Is there some sort of shoddy play on there at the moment? Let's take a look.
The city's center of thespian excellence, the Disc Theater, was situated on the Isle of Gods, not far from Pseudopolis Yard.
Everyone on the disc knows the legend of Eleanor of Tzot. Or at least everyone knows a legend of Eleanor of Tzot. Or Krinix. Or El Harib. Ask most people and they'll tell you that she was the cause of the Tzotian Wars. Of course, ask most people and they'll tell you the patrician is a kind and benevolent man. Never trust what most people tell you. The real cause of the Tzotian Wars was a little-known goddess called Errata.
You're right to worry, Luton.
There was a flyer left behind on one of the seats. The stage, where performers go up in front of a drunken crowd and sell their dignity to earn enough money to barely live on. It made me think that all the discs a stage and all the people players. Unfortunately, I felt like I'd been cast as an extra in my own life story. The pompous windbag on the stage was Provitier. He went beyond being a ham. He had 2 eggs, fried mushrooms, and a gigantic rasher of bacon. That's pretty good. You've been acting long?
One is either born an actor or one is never an actor.
Yeah, I can just see you paddling about the womb with a script in hand.
Do you doubt my credentials as the Disc's premier performer of dramatic scenes?
As far as I'm concerned, one actor is as good as another. You come on, you speak your lines, and then you get killed. How hard can it be?
Here I stand, your slave, a poor, infirm, weak, and despised old man. Do you slight me such?
What?
You are not abreast of Whell's fair pen, then, stranger.
The name's Luton. And no, I don't know Whell's work at all.
Mine name is Previtier, and my realm is that of tragedy and comedy. The finest arts are my purview.
Yeah, if you say so. So you're an actor?
It is my calling to tread the boards, and for this I am called an actor.
Translation, yes. Why do you talk like that?
When one is blessed with silk, one does not wear cotton.
What's that supposed to mean?
You are not familiar with the ways of the theater, are you, my boy?
No. I always thought it was about getting killed in a different way every night.
Well, that's part of it. But it's also about the lines, the pomp and the circumstance. Men in skirts. Yes, yes. The play's the thing.
To catch the cash flow of the dim.
You disapprove? A man must his living make.
If he could make it with decent grammar, I wouldn't mind.
You should come and see the spectacle. Perhaps then you would cast less scorn upon our merry ways.
You want me to go to see a play?
Come to hear the wooden dialogue.
That's not much of a quote.
It was the best I could do at short notice.
What's playing at the moment?
Troculus and Chrysalic. The tale of the frailty of woman and the stupidity of a man in love.
With a lot of bloody deaths thrown in for good measure.
But of course.
Tell me about the plays.
Would that I had the time to sing the praises of all Whell's masterworks. But time is short and life is fleeting.
Just tell me about the plays.
Our current season is a groundbreaking interpretation of Whell's most famous works, pushing back the boundaries of art and style.
Groundbreaking?
'Tis a term we of the noble calling use to describe the way each generation improves and expands upon the themes laid bare in the soul by inspiration.
In other words, your murder scenes look more and more realistic every year.
The triumph of effects.
Unfortunately, the triumph of effects over plot.
The plots are as entrancing as the day they were first written.
In other words, you haven't had any new ideas in decades.
If the way is true, why err from it?
Yeah, Privatier is very pompous, but he's also very chatty.
A man named Mundy was killed recently.
Slain amidst the bright flags of peace, eh?
Well, hung upside down in his room with his eyes plucked out, actually.
Indeed. It reminds me of Whell's epic, The Leering King. Ah, such sweet sorrows.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means that the gods exploit our weaknesses to show us our faults.
More like the gods exploit our weaknesses because it's a bit of a laugh.
There may be truth in what you speak.
I mean, a lot of what he says is twaddle, but he still has a lot to say. Some of it's useful.
I gave Carlotta's description to Previtier and asked him if she'd been around the theatre.
Indeed, I have seen that young flower amongst the audience. She comes often and stays unto the end. I oft find myself musing as to what it is that draws her back.
You wonder why she bothers to come back? So, you're admitting that the plays aren't very good.
As good as they are, this young lady has been back to see the same play many times. And she is not alone. There are several such regulars. But perhaps these fine souls sense that the magic of each of the plays is timeless.
I suspect there's more to it than that. Can you describe any of the others?
Alas, only the lady's visage is burnt across my eyes like the dawn's first light.
Should he be looking at a lady's visage so intently?
Have you heard of the counterweight killings?
A terrible state of affairs, a tragedy.
But do you know anything about it?
I know it's been very good for the gate receipts.
Has anything unusual happened around here recently?
Who am I to say what is usual and what is an aberrance of nature?
Believe me, if I had someone else to ask, I would.
The closest to an unusual occurrence was when Lucius, miserable souse that he is, missed the role in Titus Diplodocus.
Missed his role?
He was supposed to be playing Canapé, but he didn't turn up. I don't know where he is.
Where he is? He still hasn't turned up.
Probably afraid we're going to eat him alive when he finally drags his sorry carcass back here.
Do you know anything about the dwarf who rode his carriage off the Magdalen Bridge the other week?
Indeed, I do not. I trust he was not a friend of yours.
No, I didn't know him. His name was Reagan.
Reagan? I did not know him. Although I thank you for the news all the same.
You thank me for the news?
Though, it be honest, it is never good to bring bad news.
Did the other children beat you up when you were little? There was a murder up in the rooftops recently. A troll named Malachite was stabbed to death. Did you hear about that?
I know naught of stabbings, save the foul betrayal in The Tyrant.
The Tyrant? A play?
We performed it but recently. The grandeur of the stage.
Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war.
The Dogs of War?
In the play, the tyrant leads an army of dogs into battle, but they kept slipping all over the place because of the general muddiness.
Does he win?
Well, in the end, he's betrayed by his closest ally and stabbed to death by the people of Ephebi.
Doesn't sound like much of a victory.
No, but it's a glorious death. Et tu, Cletus. Pure poetry.
Okay. I'm not sure what that has anything to do with Malachite's death, but more power to you.
Have you heard of Errata?
But, of course, the architect of the Tsortian Wars, the origin of our little play tonight.
How come?
Being the goddess of misunderstandings, Errata's popularity is lacking. And she feels slighted by not being invited to a certain wedding. So she plans a devious vengeance, which in turn causes the Tsortian War.
And is it based on a true story?
Everything is a truth of a sort.
Is that a yes or a no?
I am not one to judge such things.
Seen any strange beasts around here?
Not since the transmogrification scene in Dream of Somewhere Near the End of Spring last year.
That's not very helpful. There was a murder at Unseen University recently. The reader of esoteric occultism was killed. Do you know anything about that?
Alas, no. But all that must live must die. Passing through nature to eternity.
Remind me not to invite you to my next party. Have you heard about any merchants being murdered recently?
But of course. One was slain in this very theatre only days ago.
Really?
At the climax of Kensington, the merchant is strangled by his very wife. It was very dramatic.
The murder was in the play?
I would not take such pleasure in a real murder, my boy.
To mourn a mischief that is past and gone is the next way to draw new mischief on.
Couldn't you just say, bad things cause other bad things?
One must embrace the beauty of language.
Well, ease up on the hug, Privetier. I think the language needs to breathe a little. Did you hear about the murder of the patrician's clerk?
Ah, the patrician. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
I don't think he ever wears one, but I'll take that as a no. Tell me what you know about golden swords.
Alas, I know of but one such blade, the falchion from Troculus and Chrysalic.
The falchion was a slightly curved sword, cast in gold.
Well, the real one would be if it existed. Our prop is an old table leg whittled to a point.
Interesting.
About the prop? We have many other props, you know.
I meant what you said about the sword was interesting. I think it was the blade that killed me the other week.
You look surprisingly well for a cadaver, my boy.
Well, they don't make murders like they used to.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Is there a gold-plated jewel in any of the plays?
Not that I'm aware of, dear boy. but Clef Patari is described as the jewel of the jelly, if that's any help.
What happens to her?
She gets bitten by an ass. It's very moving.
Yeah, I bet it gets the audience moving for the exits.
I don't know who's worse, Privateer or Malaclips, but at least Malaclips has useful information at least 50% of the time.
What would you say if I told you I suspected people are being murdered to summon a terrible entity to destroy the city?
I would say, doomsday is near, die all, die merrily.
That's from one of these silly plays, isn't it?
The King of Ankh, Act 4, Scene 1.
I was serious, you know. The disc might be the focal point for infernal forces that could destroy the city. I'd enjoy talking to you a lot more if you'd just stop quoting those damn plays. Do you realize how pathetic this makes you look?
What? Must I hold a candle to my shames?
You know, I think I'll be glad if this place does get destroyed by horrors from beyond time and space.
It'd be great publicity. Should I tell them how to spell my name?
I'd picked up the theater flyer from the Disc Theater. It told me about the plays in the Disc's current season. What can you tell me about this flyer?
Ah! The proud harbinger of our festivities, the page that trumpets the act that illuminates the soul.
That inhabits the body that slept on the seats that sat in the theater that shoddy carpenters made.
Do you mock me, my boy?
Oh, you're way ahead of me on that one. Well, I have to go.
Ah! Parting is such sweet sorrow.
Whatever.
I wonder. If we're close enough to the stage, we should be able to transform.
I quickly transformed into a wolf and had a sniff around. There was an eerie, dark magenta scent in the theater. But what caught my attention was the magenta scent that seemed to disappear into the stage. My murderer had been here. Where the scent had disappeared, there were some marks. I couldn't quite make them out, but they seemed to be a definite shape of some kind. I ran my finger around the marks casually. There was something about them that made you want to trace things on them, like a smiley face or a tic-tac-toe board. Well, something like that. Maybe something a little more sinister.
Like a strange symbol?
I traced the sign from the sanctuary on the marks, but nothing happened. I wasn't sure if I was doing it right, though.
Okay. We will return. We need to gather some more information, so we'll head towards the mansion and check out the library.